Welcome to PWS United, a podcast for the Prader-Willi syndrome community, brought to you by PWSA USA. This podcast gives the latest news in research, advocacy, and family support by bringing together staff, volunteers, PWS treatment specialists, biotech and pharmaceutical representatives, caregivers, family members, and individuals with PWS. Our goal is to share education, awareness, and resources with those living with PWS and their supporters. Join us in our mission to enhance the quality of life and empower those affected by Prader-Willi syndrome. Well, welcome everyone to today's episode of PWS United. Annie and I are both here, and we're going to get into our volume 120 April 4th Pulse newsletter that went out last week. So we're going to get right into it today because we have a lot to go over. So the first thing is our 2024 annual report. It is ready to be downloaded and viewed by everybody. And 2024 was a year of progress, advocacy, and impact for our PWS community. From groundbreaking treatment milestones to expanded family support and advocacy efforts, our annual report highlights the incredible strides we've made together. Discover how your support has driven real change. You can read about our key initiatives, inspiring stories, and the future that we're building for individuals and their families affected by PWS. And again, we encourage you to read the full report by visiting the link in our show notes. Our PWSA memory this week highlights a very well-known person in the PWS community who's also affectionately referred to as the Wizard, which I love, Annie.
It's so cute.
Pretty amazing. That was fun to learn on Friday when we were talking to staff about this.
Yeah.
But it is none other than the amazing Merlin G. Butler, who is a retired physician scientist, clinical geneticist, and clinical cytogeneticist who worked at the University of Kansas Medical Center and as a prominent researcher in the PWS community. He is a member of PWSA USA's Clinical and Scientific Advisory Board and is incredibly helpful with genetics questions that our staff and providers have. So to give a little background into Dr. Butler, we pulled a quote from an article that reads, "In the early 1980s, he was the first to report that the genetic cause of this syndrome, a chromosome 15 deletion, was donated by the father only. Later in the same decade, he teamed up with the investigators from Harvard University using advanced DNA technology and determined about 1/3 of Prader-Willi syndrome cases were the result of maternal disomy 15, when a mother passes 2 copies of chromosome 15 to her child with Prader-Willi syndrome instead of 1 copy." And we will have a link to this article that this quote came from. Pioneering geneticist Merlin G. Butler keeps pushing the boundaries of science. That will be linked in our show notes if you want to read a little more. And with the help of researchers like Dr. Butler, the medical community is able to have a better understanding of PWS, symptoms, and the most effective way to move forward with treatment options. We offer our sincerest gratitude to Dr. Butler and all of the clinical and scientific professionals who work to help enhance the lives of our loved ones with PWS. And for our Spotlight on Hope section, we really just want to put another big call out to our community and have more submissions shared with us so we can keep this going and really spotlight our loved ones with PWS and all of the incredible, amazing things that they're doing in life. But PWS Awareness Month is coming up in just a few weeks, and it's such a good time to share the milestones, any memories you have, just a special generic shout out even of your loved one. We will take all of them and any photos you have, and we want to spotlight them in the Pulse newsletters and on our social media. So we're here to give that shout out, and you can find that link in the show notes.
Okay, well, this I think is very exciting. This conference update, we have a list of the countries where families are coming from, and it's very exciting to see how far and wide people are coming from. So for the 2025 United in Hope Conference, hosted by IPSO, PWSA, and FPWR, families will be joining us from Japan, Ireland, Hungary, Canada, United Kingdom, Australia, Dominican Republic, Sweden, Norway, Kenya, Germany, Belgium, Bulgaria, Costa Rica, Israel, Congo, France, Argentina, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Switzerland, and of course, the United States. And this
So
historic,
many.
so many, so
So many.
many. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out how to say welcome in
That was a
all the
good
different
learning
languages.
moment for you, Annie.
It was. There's a lot. There's
And
a
this
lot.
is honestly just the initial people coming. I know there's still quite a few international families and medical professionals that are getting their visas approved.
Mm.
And so there might be even more countries than this list, I will just say.
Exciting. That's so
Yes.
exciting. Yes. Really looking forward to just seeing everybody all in one place. It's gonna be really
Mhm.
cool. And to make connections and just spread that support. So we're very
Yes.
excited so we're very excited to welcome our international families.
Mhm.
And just a reminder that the online registration will be open until Tuesday, June 17th, and walk up registrations will not be available on site. And to register for this conference, you can find that link in our show notes. You can also still find the link to submit your photos for the mural that will be displayed at the conference. You do not have to be an attendee of the conference to submit photos of your loved one with PWS. But we're making this big, beautiful mural that's just going to be so incredible to see. And you'll find that link in our show notes. Now, moving on, Carrie, I don't know if we've had a pulse
I don't think
since
we've shared this on the podcast yet, no.
we have not shared this on the podcast. So, if by chance you are someone who only gets your PWS news via this podcast, congratulations to the PWS community because VYKAT XR, formerly known as DCCR, has been approved by the FDA.
Yes. The first ever hyperphagia treatment in PWS.
Yes.
Amazing.
Very successful in clinical trials, and now it has gone through and been approved by the FDA. So now what happens next?
Right.
There's a lot to know, and thankfully, Seleno is helping us out. They're gonna
Mhm.
fill us in on Wednesday, April 16th at 9:15 AM Pacific, which is 12:15 PM Eastern, and then all the time zones in between. The PWS community is celebrating a big victory with the FDA approval of VYKAT XR, again formerly known as DCCR. While we celebrate, it is important to learn all that we can about VYKAT XR, and the next steps for this is a potential treatment option. So registration is now open for Soleno Therapeutics and MedLive's free live webinar. We highly encourage everyone in the PWS community to attend this virtual event to learn more about VYKAT XR and how it addresses hyperphagia in individuals with Prader-Willi syndrome. If you are unable to make it, the webinar will be recorded, but you should still register for the webinar.
Yes.
Then you'll get a link to the recording.
Right.
We'll also share it on social, I'm sure. But
Absolutely.
you're going to see it, whether it's on that day or not. You'll see it. So what you'll learn is how VYKAT XR helps manage hyperphagia as a first and only FDA-approved treatment, a caregiver's firsthand experience with VYKAT XR, and how to get started with the treatment. So you'll find a link for that webinar in the show notes. So, New York area families, you have a mini conference and family fun day coming up hosted by the Prader-Willi Alliance of New York. So, this exciting event is happening May 2nd through 3rd, 2025, at the Hyatt Place Albany in Albany, New York. And this Friday evening, will be a meet and greet at 7 p.m. Eastern. Conference sessions will be on Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. An activity room will be available for individuals with PWS and their siblings during the meet and greet presentations. And on Saturday afternoon, from 12 to 4, there will be a family day at Huck Finn's Playland. So conference registration is $25 per family. At the posting of this podcast, it is too late for the early bird rate on the hotel, but you can find all this information if you follow the link to register in the show notes. It'll have all the details and the information, and so you can learn more there. I haven't heard any news yet about how Zara's Night of Light went, but that was on Saturday.
Yes. I got some photos from Stacy, who was there. So we
Nice.
will put together a little photo montage collage
Nice.
and get it out on social media soon. And then, yeah, I want to talk to Pia Dorson, who hosted this event and is also a staff member with us, and get some quotes from her about what happened at the event and all the
Yeah.
fun that was had. And I know they raised quite a bit of money, Annie, which is amazing.
Oh, good. That's
We're so
awesome.
appreciative. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a wonderful event. And then
But
that
all that
brings
to say, we'll have a link at some point in the near future giving a little recap and some photos.
yes, we will have more information.
And there's my update.
Yeah, and so then also just to draw your attention to the United We Brunch awareness in every state. These events will be happening during the month of May for PWS Awareness Month, and these are also fundraisers, but a lot more low key and
Mm.
just mellow and kind of for your community. I'm hosting a disability awareness open mic, which will also have a Zoom component. So if people want to check into that, or if people want to watch
Mhm.
it, there will be a Zoom link for that. And that one's called The Good, the Bad, the Bubbly. They all
So
have
cute.
they all have cute names. So you can find a link to the United We Brunch. And if you want to host one in your state, we're trying to have one in every state. And so even if there's one already happening in your state, we could have two or three in a state.
Absolutely.
Totally fine. But it's just a fun way to spread awareness and raise a little bit of money for the work that PWSA does. So there will be a link for that in the show notes. And that's that for events.
All right. Now we are moving on to advocacy. So, the first thing we wanted to share was again along the lines of PWS Awareness Month. You're going to hear that phrase often today and going forward for a little while, but we have a new Awareness Month Proclamation Toolkit now available for download. So we encourage you to make an impact this May by securing a PWS Awareness Month or PWS Awareness Day, which is May 15th, proclamation in your city or state. Our proclamation toolkit provides everything you need to take action, including step by step guidance, sample cover letters for reaching out to local and state officials, and inspiring success stories from PWS families who have done this before. This is an easy yet powerful way to raise awareness for Prader-Willi syndrome in your community, and we encourage everyone to get involved. If you receive a proclamation, please be sure to share it with us so that we can celebrate it with you. So for questions, you can email advocacy@pwsausa.org. And please send any proclamation photos and quotes that you want to share along with that to communications@pwsausa.org. We'll have those emails in the show notes. So let's work together to make PWS awareness visible across the country. And you can also find the proclamation toolkit in the show notes as well. We also have a call for stories from Illinois families. We have been working with a small group of advocates in Illinois to get PWS recognized as a condition for Medicaid disability services. In the last couple of weeks, it has become apparent that there are elements of the process for families seeking services that are not working as designed. So we need your help to learn more. We're looking for stories from Illinois families who need services from the state and have been denied. We are also interested in families who have been granted services but have been unable to obtain them. These real life examples of challenges with the Illinois system for obtaining disability services are important to our continued advocacy. Please reach out to Elaine Toll, our advocacy specialist, at etowle, TOWLE, at pwsausa.org, and we'll have that in the show notes. Or you can call her at 941-487-6720 to share your story. All stories are important to help us and Illinois officials better understand what is happening as PWS families seek necessary services. We look forward to hearing from you, and please respond by Wednesday, April 9th. Thank you so much in advance for all your help.
Yes, and just to point out that that does not give listeners of the podcast much time, but this was put out last
Right.
week. So, if you're listening and saying, "Well, I didn't have enough time," sorry, it went out on social and on
Mhm.
the Pulse. But you still have time. If you're listening on Tuesday, even if you're listening Wednesday morning, you still have time to put those stories together. So for family support, we wanted to bring in National Siblings Day, which is happening this Thursday, April 10th. As parents and caregivers, we recognize the challenges that siblings and individuals with PWS face and the need for specialized support for those siblings. With this in mind, we are continuing to grow our resources for the siblings in the PWS community. And one of those ways is with an exciting new sibling support guide created with contributions from moms Christy Rickenbach, Denise Service, and Lisa Lamb. And this guide is designed to help both parents, caregivers, and siblings navigate this unique experience. So, this guide provides practical support for parents in fostering understanding and communication, while also offering direct guidance and encouragement for siblings themselves. Inside, you'll find valuable insights, including 10 tips for helping siblings thrive, how siblings may feel, and what is PWS for siblings. Whether you're a parent looking for ways to support your children or a sibling seeking understanding, this guide is here for you. And if you listen to last week's podcast, you'll recognize those names because I had the pleasure of speaking with Christy and Denise and Lisa, and we talked about siblings and what, as parents, how we try and support our siblings, maybe some of the things we've done wrong, um, what we're worried about, what we are
It was
hopeful for.
very open and honest and transparent, and I think people would appreciate that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good conversation. So, if you wanna check that out, we have that. We also have a blog from Mallory Service. She's the sibling, Denise's daughter, and you can read that blog. I'll have a link to that in the show notes. But that's really good. It's really cool to have the sibling perspective. Mallory
Mhm.
is 16 and just has some helpful advice for siblings. And
Right.
so if you are a sibling or know a sibling that you think would have some good things to contribute to this conversation, you can email me at africke@pwsausa.org because we would love to put out some more sibling blogs. We're
Mhm.
just really trying to create a nice foundation of support for siblings. And so if you want to help with that, please send me an email. And then also, if you are attending the 2025 International PWS Conference, we will have a sibling panel to hear directly from siblings in our community about what their experience has been like and what kind of ways we can support them. So, lots of good stuff for siblings, and you can find that sibling guide in our show notes, a link for it. Our blog last week was another in the PWS and Adulthood blog series. A Loving School is Vital was the name of this one. I like to try and pull quotes from the submissions.
Yeah, I love that one.
So this blog was contributed by Lois Schultz, father to Laura, who's a 38-year-old living with PWS. Now, he wrote about the challenges of Laura's behavior and the decision to place her in a group home, why this was a good decision for their family, and how Laura thrived. Today, she is in a good home with lots of friends and loving staff and volunteer work that she enjoys. So you can read the blog to learn more about Laura and Lois's advice for raising and supporting a child with PWS. And there's this really cute picture. There's a cute picture of Laura with her dog, and then there's a picture of her with a t-shirt that
I
says,
love her shirt.
can I pet your dog? And it makes me think of that. I'm sure it was started on TikTok first, but I'm 45, so I always see stuff on Instagram. But that little kid that says, can I pet that dog?
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites.
Have you ever seen the
And
original?
is it with the bears?
Yeah. She's saying
Yes.
that about a bear.
It's hysterical. I think I watched it about 100 times because she just spoke to my soul. Like, that is
Yeah.
me in everyday life, and I want this shirt. I wanna ask Laura how she got
Yes.
where she got that shirt.
Oh my god. So
"Can I
cute.
pet your dog?"
Oh, yeah. So there'll be a link to that in the show notes. So read the blog, it's really sweet. And also at the end of the blog, you'll see a submission form to submit your own PWS in adulthood blog. If your loved one is an adult or if you are an adult living with PWS, we would love to hear about your experience because we'd love to know how we can support you. We'd love to share your experience for younger families, just trying to bring awareness even in our community. Of course, we have to spread awareness outside of our community, PWS awareness,
Right,
but we're also trying to bring it into our community as well and just to understand all the different experiences of all the people here.
right. And just as a quick side note on this subject, during PWS Awareness Month in May, we're gonna be spotlighting our adults with PWS advisory board members who are all adults living with PWS. I believe there's 8 on the advisory board,
Okay.
and they're all gonna do this. They're gonna kinda share
Oh,
their
yeah.
adulthood blog
Yes.
post. And hopefully it, encourages others when they read it to give their own submission and share their own stories. So we look
Yeah.
forward to putting those out in a few weeks. I can't wait.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, and I will say and I've actually said this a lot lately to people as the mom of a child with PWS.
Mhm.
These PWS and adulthood blogs and then meeting adults in DC, and I mean, it's just been so inspiring and
Mhm.
comforting and just, like,
Mhm.
seeing that all of these adults, they have their own lives. They're living their lives. They're finding joy and happiness and purpose through volunteer work or their community or, it's
Yeah.
really been inspiring and comforting to read all these, so I'm just grateful.
They are all inspiring, amazing people. So,
Yes. Yep.
yeah, I feel that too.
So thank you for everyone who has shared. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And moving on to another family support section where the community can participate. This is our lovely Ask Nurse Lynn. The question for this one was about a 23-year-old female with the UPD subtype. And the submitter wrote, my 23-year-old daughter with UPD is just now developing some food foraging behaviors. I am assuming this is not uncommon, but I am just wondering if this is typical to start at this age. We have never locked our cabinets because we never had to, so I'm wondering if this is the direction we are headed. Thank you so much. And as always, Lynn had a very insightful and thoughtful response. So if you'd like to read that response, you can go to the link in our show notes. You can also submit your own non-emergency medical question for Nurse Lynn. And then do we give a little heads up that our next podcast episode will actually be with Nurse Lynn
Yeah.
herself?
Yeah. Feel free to give a little plug.
Okay. So next week's podcast will be with none other than Nurse Lynn. So
Yes.
make sure you check that out, and we'll get some candid conversational responses to
Mhm.
some Nurse Lynn's
I
submissions.
love every opportunity I can get to talk to Lynn, I take it because she is not only brilliant and knows every pretty much every answer to every question I've ever had in this job, but she's hysterical and just so
Yes.
fun and sweet. And I'm so excited for her voice to be part of this podcast. It's about time.
Yes.
We got
Agreed.
Lynn involved.
Agreed. She taught us all a song on my first work trip, and I taught it to my girls, and we were actually just singing it this morning. It's amazing
Oh,
how
goodness.
often it comes up.
Love it. We'll keep the title of that song to ourselves, but it yeah, she's just very fun. Maybe she'll sing us a song of some kind. I wouldn't put it past her. Oh boy. Okay. Moving on to our research section now. We, PWSA USA, are proud to offer scholarships of up to $25,000 to support providers in enhancing their understanding of Prader-Willi syndrome through clinical proctorships with experts in the field. The scholarship supports providers who are currently in practice in the United States and who presently care for or plan to care for patients with PWS to deepen their knowledge of Prader-Willi syndrome through directed clinical proctorships with experts in the field. Special consideration will be given to new or early stage providers to PWS, as well as those in underserved geographic areas or serving underserved populations. Some examples include adults, diverse populations, or rural communities. So you can read the details of the scholarship and learn how to submit your application by checking out the link in our show notes. We also have a call for letters of intent for new PWS research grants. The PWSA USA research priorities are to gather knowledge about PWS, support the application of therapies, and recruit new investigators to the field. Regarding research topics, a broad range of areas will be considered, from societal and behavioral to biological, particularly in understudied areas such as adult health, quality of life, positive health outcomes, and diverse populations. Priority will be given to clinical studies, but we are open to other types of research as well as funding pilot projects and supporting clinical innovations to support individuals with PWS. PWSA USA will consider two types of funding for this. One, applicants may request up to $150,000 to fund research on Prader-Willi syndrome. The term of the award is 12 months with the possibility of a second grant period of 12 months of funding upon competitive renewal. And two, applicants may choose to request a smaller budget and or shorter duration. Awards of up to $25,000 may be considered on an individual and rolling basis. The deadline for these letters of intent is August 1st, 2025 at 5 p.m. Eastern. Announcement of the award will be made on November 14th, 2025, and funding will begin on January 1st, 2026. Release of funds to awardee is contingent upon IRB approval of the proposal. And you can learn more about this call for LOIs and how to submit yours by visiting the link in our show notes.
So we would love to share a very warm welcome to our newest staff member. Charles Conway Jr. is now our executive administrative assistant. Charles was born and raised in Hope, Arkansas, who currently resides in Woodbridge, Virginia. He is a retired Army logistics officer. He was a lieutenant colonel. He served for over 24 years in numerous leadership and support staff positions across the U.S., including 4 deployments overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq. He earned his BS in Civil Engineering Technology from Alabama A&M University and an MSA in General Administration Human Resources from Central Michigan University. He might be a little overqualified, but we're very happy to have him here.
Yes.
In his free time, Charles enjoys spending time with his family, playing and watching basketball, tennis, and football, especially the Dallas Cowboys. So if any Dallas Cowboy fans out there, uh,
Not me, but
go
love you
Cowboys.
anyways, Charles. I don't hold
I'm
it
just
against you.
listening to music, running, lifting weights, and most importantly, being the voice for his children, especially his youngest daughter, Angelica, who has PWS. Since retirement, Charles has been a big supporter of PWSA USA's mission as he serves as a member of the Advocacy Committee, Communications Working Group, Family Support Working Group, as well as Parent Mentor and Dad's Group Organizer. He is also co-organizer of the PWS Black, Indigenous, and People of Color BIPOC Affinity Group. Charles is committed to helping raise awareness about PWS, educating others, including federal, state, and local government, and mentoring, encouraging, and supporting families impacted by PWS. He is married to the beautiful Janelle, and they have 6 adorable children. So, Charles, we're very excited to have you on board. I'm sure many of you have heard his name in multiple arenas in the PWS community. So, we're very excited to welcome him onto the staff.
Yes, we can't wait. And I just really, as a side note, Annie, love he wrote this bio, by the way, that Annie read. And I love that he put beautiful Janelle.
Right.
That speaks to
Yeah.
my heart.
Thank you for clarifying that. Like, that was how it was written. Charles wrote that. I didn't even think about that. I mean, she is
What
beautiful.
about
I've said.
she is beautiful, but I wanted to show appreciation to Charles for pointing out that she is in this public space on our website, on here. It's amazing. That's a good husband.
Nice. And lastly, our resource spotlight is our brochure questions and answers about PWS. So as we look ahead to PWS Awareness Month in May, we wanted to share a resource that helps spread information and awareness about our loved ones. So this downloadable brochure, Questions and Answers about Prader-Willi Syndrome, provides insight into some of the more common questions about PWS, like what is it? How common is PWS? What causes appetite and obesity problems? How does growth hormone help? What does the future hold? And more. So you can prepare for PWS Awareness Month by downloading this free resource and sharing it with your community. And you will find a link for that in the show notes. And that's it. That is our Pulse,
Volume 120. That's amazing.
Volume 120. Yep.
There's been a lot of newsletters created by PWSA. It's awesome.
So I don't.
Any final thoughts, Annie? Any mission moments or anything that come to mind for you before we sign out here?
I feel like I kind of said it already with the adults sharing
Yeah.
the PWS and adulthood story. That's just really something that has really impacted my perception of this disorder and
Mhm.
what the future may look like for Freya. I'm really grateful for that.
A
Yeah.
lot of
So
these blogs give, though, the hope that No,
Yes.
they can do absolutely anything they
So much.
put their minds to.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
A
that's
lot of
such a good
options, a lot of things to be excited for
Mhm.
and look forward to. So, yeah.
Love it. Mine, really quick, is just that the first FDA-approved hyperphagia treatment was officially made, and I was sitting after the announcement came and we had put all the, communications out. I was eating dinner, I think, at, like, 9 o'clock, but it was worth it to make sure everything got out correctly and,
Right.
on time and all that, but I was sitting at the table and I literally just started tearing up because it was such not being a parent myself, but being part of this community for 4 years, I have
Uh-huh.
seen the fight and the need and just yeah, everyone's hard fought time and energy and effort into this potential treatment and any potential treatment really. And I was just so proud to be part of the efforts that went into this and just proud to be surrounded by people who have done that for the last several years. But yeah, it was just a really touching moment. And I'm sure many out there, if not everyone, can agree with that. It was good news when we needed it, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it
We
was
needed a
just
win
as an
and we got
aside.
one.
We gotta win. Yeah. But I'm just very proud of everyone for all their hard work leading up to that point, and grateful to Soleno for putting, their hard fought time and energy and efforts also into making sure that this crossed the finish line. So just it's a great time. Great time for the PWS community. A lot to celebrate. Thank you for listening to this episode of PWS United. If you want to learn more about Prader-Willi syndrome and how PWSA USA is making strides in advocacy, family support, and research, visit www.pwsausa.org. And while you're there, we encourage you to sign up for our Pulse email newsletter to stay informed about the latest news, resources, and events. Don't forget to subscribe to the PWS United podcast so you never miss an episode. Our team is always available to support families and their loved ones living with PWS 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. You can call us at 941-312-0400 or email info@pwsausa.org. Catch a new episode next Tuesday, and until then, have a great week.